Hello, everyone. My name is Jussi Knuuttila, and I work as the environmental producer in Lahti, European Green Capital. Very happy to be here today. I'm already excited to hear about Perth and some other stories from the participating cities. But I'm also very happy to tell you about Lahti's bid to become the European Green Capital 2021. After this short presentation, we will have time for a Q&A session, but first some things about the hop-in platform. You can see my presentation and also my picture, my web camera in the session. By double-clicking, you can maximize either my video or my presentation, however you want to follow the workshop. In the Q&A session, we have the possibility to invite you on the stage as well. And I think that sounds much more fun to have someone else here with me on the stage as well. You can request this in the end of my presentation. I'm just double checking that everyone is hearing me. Could someone be kind enough and write it in the chat? So I'm gonna start my presentation. Very good. I'm gonna go ahead with the story of Lahti. So, where's Lahti? I think this is a question you might ask yourself. Lahti is located around 100 kilometers north of Helsinki, the capital of Finland, and it's one train ride away from St. Petersburg. So we are very well situated. It's a city of 120,000 residents, the 8th biggest city in Finland. And I just realized that the map is in Finnish, but this is now a workshop of Lahti, but it's also your first Finnish lesson. So Suomi means Finland in Finnish. As a geographer, I want to mention how Lahti has a really special geographical environment and history. The Salpausselkä Ice Age formation, which is a ridge formed by the last ice age. It runs through the city from east to west, and some of the oldest human settlement remains in Finland around here. So we are a very hilly and bumpy city. The Salpausselkä Ridge, it provides numerous ecosystem services, large groundwater reservoirs, but also recreational values for citizens and for visitors, and a diversity of biotopes. And pictured here, you can see the ski jump hills from the World Cup, but also Lahti hosts the Lahti ski games. So we're very well known for our winter sports. So now you are all experts about Lahti. So what is this all about? What is a European Green Capital? I'm going to change the slide. So it is an annual competition organized by the European Commission. The Commission, they have long recognized the important role that local authorities and cities play in improving the environment. And the award has been conceived as an initiative to promote and reward these efforts. Any European city with more than 100,000 inhabitants can apply for the award. And what the European Commission emphasizes here is the importance of the city's ambitions towards these 12 indicators and themes, like water, nature and biodiversity, energy performance, governance, and waste care. And each city files in an application that extensively covers these 12 different themes. Our application can be seen online on our webpage under the facts page. But you can also visit our booth later on in the networking session. The link is also there. So why would a city apply for international awards? And what are the benefits of a city profiling itself as the European Green Capital? On the right, you can see all of the European Green Capitals to date. Lahti is the 12th city to be granted the title. But we are also the northernmost, easternmost, and the smallest city on the list. I think that's something to be very proud of. And the benefits of the Green Capital, the award was won because of the residents in Lahti. So of course, this is something that one is very proud to achieve. It also helps to clarify environmental goals. Other benefits include international visibility, the reputation of the city, networking and cooperation opportunities, but also creation of new jobs and new funding opportunities. And now I just made sure that there are no technical issues posted in the chat. Very good. So what were Lahti's strengths in this competition? And most importantly, what are the sectors where we can do better now and in the future? Here is the comparison between the two other finalist cities in the competition, Lille and Strasbourg. The closer to the edge the lines go, the better the result in each category. So we got the best scores in the competition in the sectors air quality, waste care, green growth, and governance. Sustainable land use, sustainable urban mobility, but also climate change mitigation and adaptation are some things where we need to concentrate on in the future as a city. And this is the title of European Green Capital is not something that was accomplished in a year or two, but it's rather the hard work of several decades. In Lahti, sustainable development and environmental issues, they have been a long-term commitment. The environmental work dates back to the late 80s and 90s, and two themes around this time are persistent: waste and water. In the 90s, Lahti developed a waste management system based on source separation and gave the residents excellent opportunities to sort their waste more efficiently. This was also during the time when it was thought that this kind of source separation is not even economically viable or effective. And the story today is completely different. Another important theme here is water protection. The lake Vesijärvi, just outside Lahti, was one of the most polluted lakes in Finland. Lahti had a remarkable growth period after the Second World War, like many other cities in Europe, and it was growing faster than any other city in Finland. This created numerous business opportunities, new industries, and an economic boom in the area. But the rapid industrialization and population growth, it also caused environmental problems. The Vesijärvi 1 project, it combined biomanipulation, selective fishing, and predatory fish stocking. And cleaning up the badly polluted lake, this is something that created a foundation for the environmental expertise and research that we still have in Lahti to this day. Some of the steps towards sustainability and a better environment in Lahti, they have been taken in times of national and global hardships. I think that is an interesting story to tell. 90s were the time of Finnish economic depression. Then there's the year 2009, the global banking crisis. Around that time, Lahti was one of the first in Finland to set its ambitious emission reduction target to decrease its emissions by 50% from the level of 1990 by the year 2025. Politicians and leaders at this time, they really had no clear picture how this would be accomplished, but there still was a will to go forward with the plan and include it in the city's strategy. In my opinion, it's these practical solutions and hands-on attitude that gained us the title European Green Capital. But the work doesn't end here. From now on, in the 2020s, we have another crisis, the global pandemic. And we need to have, and we're extremely looking forward to now having strong cooperation with other cities, both nationally and internationally, and sharing good practices and connecting on with concrete actions, just like we're doing today. Then I'm going to continue with emissions. So what happened in 2009 when the plan was made? In 1990, the CO2 emissions were 11 tons per capita. That at that time was quite an average amount for a city that powered itself with coal. After significant changes in how we produced electricity, changing from coal to biomass, we almost halved the emissions already in 2017. And next year, as the European Green Capital, our emissions have decreased by about 70% compared to the levels of 90. And now we're aiming to become the carbon neutral by 2025, which is actually 10 years before Finland aims to reach its carbon neutrality and 25 years before the European Commission and the EU. This means that we still have a lot of work and we need to figure out all the possible carbon sinks and lastly, the ways of carbon compensation. And some words about our Green Capital year. These are our three main objectives for the year. So first, smooth everyday life contributing to well-being. By smooth, we mean that we don't want to be the naysayers and ban all the cars in the city or force everyone to turn vegan. But it's rather that when a city invests in environmental initiatives, it becomes a better city, a smoother city, a healthier city without taking anything out. Functioning and sustainable cities. Lahti has a long history with sustainable practices, but so do many other cities. And we want to offer a forum for the best sustainable initiatives and inventions. And this is also linked with the visibility of the Green Capital year. Our themes of the year, we have four main themes: carbon neutral life, especially considering the questions related to everyday life and lifestyles. Inclusion, the Green Capital year, the title was achieved by the people of Lahti, and we want to involve everyone also in making of this year. It cannot be just us from the foundation. And one of the important goals to achieve is to involve the children and the youth. Circular economy. Lahti still has a lot of industries, and there are many fascinating ideas and innovations that could also be scaled globally. And last, nature and water. The cities, they also need to be actors in promoting biodiversity questions. It is not something external away from the cities. I realized our two cities, Perth and Lahti, have a lot of in common, and the closeness to nature is definitely one of those. So these are the four themes under which we search for the best Finnish solutions available. And under these themes, we will focus on with our concrete actions in the upcoming year. We're now planning a center for carbon neutral construction, and we are introducing city bikes and city buses in the city, and also smart mobility, just to name a few. One of my favorite things to mention of concrete actions is green capital funding. So as an organization, we also work as a funding channel for communities, businesses, and research institutions. So we have had discussions, and we continue having discussion with the 100 biggest Finnish companies. And together with the companies, we find new responsible business possibilities and also business clusters in Lahti region. But we are also pairing them up, the companies, with the local actors such as universities and local startups. And the financial investment by the companies is directed directly to the funding of local projects in the region. So we look for projects with at least 2 partners that work in cooperation and around the main themes of the year. what we really are looking for is new innovations, technologies, and experiments in the region. Something concrete, not just a pile of paper. That has been our motto. It's very important to mention also that other municipalities in the region are our partners, and we work in cooperation during the Green Capital Year. I'm going to show you one example of a project we funded. These gentlemen they are a bicycle club that offers support and training for senior citizens interested in cycling and staying in shape, but also encouraging others to do the same. In total, we have 6 application rounds, and during the last round, we funded 19 projects with the total amount of 420,000 euros. We also work as an umbrella for all kinds of exciting events for next year. We have an event calendar consisting of more than 40 events. I'm guessing 100 in total next year, including international conferences, resident events. Hopefully next summer we can all gather outside and participate in them, and also events for experts and businesses. My favorite event for the upcoming year is a seminar about environmental crime, which we are organizing together with the Finnish police and FBI. So that is a very exciting event to join. We started off the year with the best biodiversity solutions in Finnish municipalities, a virtual event just a couple of weeks ago. We are opening the Green Capital Year in the middle of January. We have a sustainable tourism seminar just a couple of days after the launch. Then EcoCity Forum, which is hosted in Lahti. It showcases digital solutions for climate change. Also a very interesting event. Then we have Green Design Week, in which green capital themes and actions will be brought into visuals. And then Lahti Lakes Symposium in June. This picture is not really right. We don't have snow in June most often. And this Lahti Lake Symposium, it brings together international experts discussing lake restoration and also the underlying biochemical processes. And this is my last slide, the end of my presentation. I wrote there together. European Green Capital Year is done together. And we have invited all the stakeholders, the universities, the people, the companies, the municipalities together. And I think this is how initiatives should be done. And at this critical crossroads also in time with climate change, biodiversity loss, and now also the pandemic, we need the ideas that cities can create more than ever. And I think this is what we have also, what we are also doing today. So I'm really looking forward to our discussion after my presentation. And yes, you will find us in greenlahti.fi/en, but also from Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Greenlahti 2021. Yes, I am also the moderator of my own show. So now what I can do is I can invite people on the stage, or I can answer questions from the chat. I'm gonna turn off my presentation, and now you can only see me. So what you can do is you can request to come up on the stage. I'm gonna see. Oh, I have a lot of people. I don't know where to start. I have the maximum amount of 10 people. Hi, David.
How are you?
I'm very good. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for taking the time to come and join us. And that was a great presentation.
Thank you.
You've clearly made some great progress in Lahti. How did you engage the community and get the, you talked a lot about inclusion there, and obviously in engaging the community to achieve what you've achieved. What are the sorts of things that you did to get the community engaged?
Yes, I can even show you a slide from my presentation, which I left out. So what we have now done is we have 25 ambassadors, so citizen ambassadors who are also. I'm gonna just wait a moment. I'm sorry, it's always with the technicalities. So I'm gonna share this slide as well. So what we have done is we have started a Green Capital Ambassador program, and we have 25. We're aiming for 30 people who work as our green ambassadors. But we organize campaigns and events, workshops for people to get to hear about the year, but also different ways of impacting in those design workshops. One of the things is we have implemented this environmental project of your dreams, like I mentioned, the green capital funding. So what we are really looking forward is that the residents of Lahti, they come up with their even crazy ideas, and we are supporting them to find a second partner to join with, and then create your own project and something that you are very much engaged in. So that is something concrete, what we are doing. Also, something that I have now been preparing is that we visit all the nearby municipalities, and we hold presentations like this for the other municipalities as well. So we try not to just yell from the ivory tower, but rather go where the people are. So these are some of the things how we are engaging the people in Lahti.
Thank you.
I think I'm gonna, let's have a big party here. So I have the chance to invite people. Yes, citizens were involved in workshop while preparing for the Green Capital Year, but also this is where the city of Lahti comes in. So the city of Lahti also has programs where they include the citizens, and we have also done a Gallup, like poll about the Green Capital Year, and the latest poll we discussed how well do people know the project. So have we done well already, since the year is next year? So we wanted to already know how the citizens portray our project, and we were very happy to hear that first of all they know the project, but they are very eager to participate in the events and also apply for funding for their own events. I tried to include more people, but it's now just me and David. I think you need to look around. I think I gave permission to I'm just gonna invite everyone. I was talking with Alan, since these sessions are recorded, so I can only have 10 people.
Okay. From that polling that you talked about, did that help you to change direction? You know, as you started to poll the citizens of Lahti, did they give you feedback around what you could be doing differently, and how that adapted your plans?
I think something we were asked is like more bold and direct communication. So we also want to meet people in the social media channels. So this is also today, and one of the groups that we are sort of having a hard time reaching to is especially children and the youth, since We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, but these are not the channels where the young people move. So I think we have to think of ways of putting ourselves to Minecraft and games and virtual reality and introduce ourselves in the platforms that the young people, maybe TikTok even. I see that Alison has joined the stage as well.
Yeah, I thought during the party.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just wondering, obviously you said it took decades. I missed the complete start. But how did you get that political will and that collaboration to start with? I know you're talking about this year in particular, but it's taken quite a long time to get to this point.
Yeah, and me myself being the newest member in the foundation, it's really hard to go back to that time. I think it had something to do with also with the new energy efficient systems coming in. It's just way cheaper also to enable these new energy systems, and same thing as with the condition of the lake. So we still in the 60s we poured the sewage waters into the lake. So when you realize there's a big problem, the lakes makes horrible, we have to make adjustments. So I think also new technologies have become more prevalent, and I think that also helps the political decision that we can also provide, like I said, smoother life for the people, improve the air quality by just with going with these directives. And also I think these last couple of years, in just 2 years, sustainable development but also carbon neutrality, they have become they are mega trends. It's not just a group of people working around these topics. It's global. This happened in 2 years. So I think it's just also the upcoming of these trends that has really made the decision making more smoother as well.
There's some questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Doug, I'm gonna invite Doug since he has asked to share audio and video. Yes, welcome, Doug. I think you are muted, or I cannot hear you.
Yeah. There he goes. That's handy.
Yes.
Oh no. I think it was something buzzed as you took your headset off there. No.
I think I'm gonna invite the rest of the people on the queue as well.
Graham asked a question about how you share best practice between different settlements in Finland.
I think this has been done in the presentations we have held with the other cities, but also we are, for example, with Lappeenranta, the Green Leaf Award winner. I think I need to mention the Green Leaf to Perth as well. So what we're having discussions together how we can together elevate Finland and our carbon neutrality goals. So this has been, we have not just been working with our municipalities, so the cooperation has been also cross the borders of the different districts. So this is, and as I said, it's we won the competition, but we don't want to. It's being carbon neutral and environmentally friendly. I think it's a good competition to have, even with the cities in Finland. It's a great competition because then we can elevate each other. I'm trying to get Graham in and Susan. We have still 4 minutes left. I think the next session or the networking starts in 4 minutes, but we would still have some time for questions, and I answer the best I can. So welcome, Graham. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yes, you did. Thanks very much. And if there is a moment, part of the reason I asked is I work in the Scottish Parliament, and I've had conversations with my counterparts in the Finnish Parliament. I know there's a Finnish Committee for the Future in the Finnish Parliament, which is really interesting. But what we're always looking for are good practice examples for the politicians in the Scottish Parliament as well. So I'm always interested in how other people share best practice. So that's part of the reason. Thank you.
Okay, very good to hear. I'm gonna mention one thing that I myself find really interesting is that since we still have to cut down the carbon emissions, we are now planning a center for carbon neutral building, or like carbon neutral construction, because that is something we have to go really in depth. We have to touch things like construction, but also the lifestyles of people. So that has been very interesting to figure out how we can kind of move away from concrete, in my opinion, ugly concrete buildings, and also introduce like hybrid models and wood.
Do you, sorry.
I
was just wondering, do you have like a database of a project, so that if you have a really kind of a good project, like you put in the learnings into a database of case studies, so that does anyone use that as a sharing mechanism?
Yes, you can visit www.greenlahti.fi/en, and just last Friday we actually came out with our partners and the projects we are working on. So I think in the next week we will have more concrete actions what we are working on with. But the web page already consists of a lot of facts of the present, but also the upcoming Green Capital year. So I would recommend that sometime during this seminar we could meet at my expo, and there are the links. I can also provide some other links, maybe a direct link to our application.
Great, thank you. And
it's too bad we have such a little time for the Q&A. I saw in Perth's presentation that you're a very green city and also very flat. We're also very green but very hilly. So I'm really eager to hear more what you are planning with urban mobility, and what is the plan with urban mobility in the city. Maybe this will come up in the future sessions. But
just one of the interesting questions which has come up as part of COVID-19 is whether and why people need to move around so much now anyway, and about more local access to services and things like that. That's part of the narrative. I know less about Perth specifically, but that's something that's coming up in national conversation as well.
Yeah, I don't see why we can't have localized work hubs where we can network together from different people, can have good teleconferencing in the local area, and then you can have workstations, hot desking, and people can just, then it creates a kind of collaboration too, different people, different businesses, and that could be really quite beneficial.
I think it would be an easy way to connect that to transport hubs as well, you know, kind of sort of active transport hubs as opposed to sort of carbon-based transport. There's all kinds of opportunities, and I think Perth's a small enough city that we could really, there's so much opportunity to make those types of solutions work here, I think. But I think it connects back to the question I think Alison asked earlier about how do you get the political will to do these things and actually break out of the sort of the well-conditioned path that we're probably all on, despite our best interests, to kind of to try and break away from that. And cities like Lahti, I think, have really demonstrated that you can do it. And there's some really great examples here today that are showing us that, you know, if you've got the ambition and you can build the will, then it's achievable.
Have you got segregated bike paths, Jussi? Have you got
I'm sorry,
segregated
can you
bike paths?
repeat?
Because I feel a huge reluctance to have segregated bike paths here. In fact, I live in Aberdeen, and we just had our first segregated bike path at the beach, and within 2 months it got taken away because of a vocal minority of car people were annoyed by it, without any sort of consultation or any sort of reporting.
Okay, this is vocal car people is something I can also agree on. I think we have the similar thing happening here. We do have a sustainable urban mobility plan, and we are now finishing a 2.5 kilometer stretch of smart bike paths. So we have a smart bike path that it's completely secured from the car. From where the cars are, from the roads. And also, I would recommend checking out something that is called a CityCap project. I think you might have heard about it. We have implemented what is a personal carbon trading scheme. And that is something that is very exciting. It's an app where you can buy and sell your personal weekly carbon emissions. And you have people with cars, so they need to buy, they are using less sustainable ways of moving, so they need to buy emissions from people who walk their way to work and so on. The project is called CityCap. And also what in the future we want to do with that is to have real monetary benefits from the system, so that it comes, so I'm encouraged to walk to work. Of course, I also get fresh air and exercise, but I can also get a voucher to my local supermarket. So this is something that is really, really interesting. And it also goes to the residents' participation part that could really, really work when designing urban mobility.
But do people feel safe to use the roads? I mean, in my experience, people would use them, and they do if they're segregated, if they feel safe, if you have green byways. So is infrastructure in place to enable the right choices to be made? Because there's no use incentivizing people if they don't feel safe.
Yeah, this is something we have to work on. I think most of the bike paths leading from the city are not as good as we would like to. One of the problems in Lahti is that it's very hilly, so we're surrounded by lakes, so the geography is really working against us. So that is something that we still need to work on. And also we have nearby municipalities, satellite cities, not really satellite cities, but big cities also near Lahti. So we need also to connect the cities with bikeways, uninterrupted bikeways, and kind of connect those two systems. So yeah, urban mobility is something that still needs to be addressed. So too many big roads lead to the city and from the city. I wish there would be more bike paths. Hey, I think I was told by Alan and the organizers that I need to keep my own time. I'm very happy that this worked so well. It's my first time using this kind of cooperative system, and it's a very nice to have people here on the stage, so I don't feel like I'm just talking to my laptop. So very good. I think if you have some more questions, you can send them directly to me, or you can send them to our expo booth. I will answer the questions, and we will see you in the main stage quite soon. Thank you for the workshop. I hope you had a good time.
Very good. Yeah.
And let's stay connected. I would love to hear more about Perth. One more thing. Can you tell me a word in Scottish so I can surprise the next workshop group?
Try dreich.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah, it's dreich. If you say it, yeah, that's right. If you say it's dreich, a bit dreich in Perth.
Do you know what that means?
Grey.
It means like it's raining and
Grey.
grey and nasty,
No.
basically. It's beautiful here in Aberdeen. It's blue
Oh,
sky.
okay. That's
It's Naidri here.
okay. Thank you. Have a good rest of the seminar. See you.